Good afternoon, this is Miss Cerrone. I hope you enjoyed your spring break. We are going to be working on lesson 19 this week, which is estimating length using standard units. So let's talk about our standard, which is, I'm going to get that to not be blurry. Okay, estimating lengths using standard units of inches, feet, yards, centimeters, and meters. So we're going to quickly kind of review our vocabulary from the previous weeks. And when I say a unit of measurement, I am talking about what did we use to measure the object. Did we use inches? Did we use feet? Did we use centimeters? That is the unit of measurement. And when you are measuring something, you do have to let someone know which unit you use to measure, so they will also know the length of the object. Now, when I say the length of an object, how long is it? Or the distance from one point to another. If you're doing longer objects like a football field, how far is it from one end zone to the other? Would also be a length. We have talked about inches. We know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot, which is the length of your ruler. We have talked about feet, which is 12 inches. It is the length of your ruler. And when we go into yards, a yard is 3 rulers long. So it's like putting 3 of these rulers side by side to make a yard. On the other side of the ruler, we have the metric measurements, which are centimeters. Centimeters are smaller than inches, as you can tell on this ruler here. It has a ladybug here for an estimation of what 1 centimeter is. 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. So, like the length of a baseball bat is about 1 meter long. So, what does it mean to estimate? Estimate is taking your best educated guess. And I don't mean picking random measurements out of the air and saying, oh, yeah, I think that's 3 feet. But rather than using objects you already know the measurement of to help you make an educated guess about the size or the length of an object. Here are some items that we can use to make an estimate. A centimeter is about the width of your little finger. An inch, about the width of a quarter. A foot, which as we know is the length of a ruler, you can use about a loaf of bread. Now if you notice above each of these it has the word about. That lets you know that you are making an estimate. You are not getting out your ruler and doing an exact measurement. And a meter or a yard is about the width of your door. So let's think about how we can use these everyday items to estimate the length of an object. Here Ty has his toy car. He wants to estimate the length of his toy car. He thinks it's about 2 quarters. So what he did is he placed, as you can see, 2 quarters underneath his toy car. So is the length of the toy car longer or shorter than 2 quarters? I'm going to kind of use my ruler to help me gauge. So if I put my ruler at the end of the car, I can see it pretty much lines up with the first quarter. When I move it to the front of the car, and I'm going to stop at the front of the car, you can see that I have some of that quarter covered up, which means that Ty's car is shorter than the 2 quarters. So on my first line, I'm going to write that his car is shorter. So knowing that it is shorter than 2 quarters, and I know that each quarter is about 1 inch. So I know that his car is less than 2 inches. And I'm going to abbreviate inches here by putting IN and then a period. That is the abbreviation for. Remember, when we abbreviate things, we do have to put a period to let someone know that is not 2N. it is 2 inches. So let's talk about some other objects we can use to measure the length. Julia wants to estimate the length of her pencil box. She knows the marker is about 14 centimeters long. I'm going to circle that because that's important to know. This marker is 14 centimeters.